for this team. We kind of delayed the what's next talk from yesterday's show because we had a game to digest and a season to wrap up. And we'll have plenty of time in the offseason to go over what's next. But is there any reason, in your opinion, for optimism? Any reason for optimism? Coming up at 11:35, who we would most want from the national title game wearing the Honolulu blue and silver. You asked a question in your show sheet, is Alabama universally despised like the Yankees? I think they were absolutely getting there. How do you feel about it? I mean,
I think they're pretty close. I was trying to think of all the sports, which is the most despised team, and does it come close to like how people feel about the Yankees?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there are different reasons why. With the Yankees in the era of no salary cap in baseball, but I think when it comes to college football, I kind of think it's Alabama because I think there's the SEC fans, and the SEC fans will always stick up for the SEC, except for Auburn. They hate Alabama regardless. But I think the rest of the country doesn't like Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, if
there's a jealousy thing because they've been so ridiculously successful.
Clearly, a team that's been that successful, there's going to be one team that's the Yankees that everybody hates. It's the one that keeps winning and winning and winning, and that's Alabama fits that criteria. Watching the game last night, I'm not a giant Clemson fan either, but one of my kids is, and so I was rooting for Clemson for his sake. But, I told you the story at the beginning of the show. It's just what Eli Gold said to me. We're just on a different level than everybody else. After the Michigan-Alabama game in 2012, I was like, wow, okay. From the Karsch and Anderson inbox, I don't understand why they don't wrap up all the pregame garbage and kick off the game exactly at 8 p.m. Then there are no issues. I was out at midnight, glad the Tide lost. That's from TT in Jackson. Next one, I don't understand why they play the championship game on Monday night. Why not play it on Friday night so people can sleep the next day? That's from Ray. Guys, it's not the start time or the long commercial breaks. It's the ridiculous stoppages for reviews of obvious plays. The game was stopped at least 2 times to review obvious catches. It's time to give challenges to the coaches and restrict the number of challenges a la the NFL. It's funny because, you want to get it right. You want to be sure. If you're not sure, take a look. Because what's worse, having a long game or getting a critical call wrong? What's worse, having a long game or getting a critical call wrong?
Getting a critical call wrong.
Yeah, that's why. That's why you had these. I'm with you completely. That's why you had these long stoppages.
Well, what's worse, the question should be, is what affects the ratings and commercials, because that's what really matters to these
that's a good point.
So if a long game and you get all the right calls and no one's watching, they'll change that real quick.
Is there anything wrong with sharing the weekend with the NFL? Not at the same time.
They won't do it. But not at the same time? No, there's nothing wrong with not sharing at the same times.
Right. The Sunday games were 1 and 4, right? What if the national championship game was 8 o'clock Sunday night? I guess it doesn't matter. The next day's a work day. What if the Saturday game was
noon?
I don't think they'd want to play it at noon. Could the NFL do them a solid and say, we'll go 1 and 4 on Saturday and you can have 8 o'clock? They're not going to do that either, are they?
Well, they could.
They could do it Friday night.
They could do it Friday night, but the NFL could do a solid because the NFL knows that they need college football.
Yeah, I mean, this goes back to a lot of it. Hey, this makes so much sense. But it all comes back to, are any decisions made for anything other than money? 248-539-9797. The answer to that question, of course, seems to be, in America in 2017, no. That's the only reason decisions are made. What will make the most money? All right, Gator, we'll get back to your phone calls in a moment. Could a former Detroit Tiger be coming back? Jason Beck, MLB Network, said the following regarding former Tiger outfielder Austin Jackson.
There's a chance for a match between the Tigers and Austin Jackson on a reunion. Yeah, I mean, the setup's there. They need at least a stopgap center fielder until their prospects are ready. Jackson needs a place for a career rebound. after losing most of last season to a torn meniscus. As of late last week, there was nothing serious going on, but as we know in baseball, things can change as you get to this point in January and spring training gets closer.
Quick and easy fix, bringing Austin Jackson in if Jacoby Jones isn't ready. I know people in the organization that are extraordinarily high on Jacoby Jones and think Jacoby Jones is potential to be such a better defensive center fielder than Cameron Maben that it quite frankly doesn't matter what Cameron Maben did offensively. They'll be a better baseball team with Jacoby Jones in center field. That belief is there within the organization. Now, Austin Jackson, I suppose if it's one of those things where if he's still available, sure. How long do you have to wait? Or how quickly do you have to move? Is he going to get, quote unquote, snatched up by somebody else?
Well, I mean, free agency has been going on for a while here, so it hasn't snatched up yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a question of, is he an upgrade over Tyler Collins / Jacoby Jones, that kind of grouping they're going to have, or platoon that they would have in center field, which is what they envision, at least to start off. Would Austin Jackson be an upgrade in that mix? I think defensively, we remember Austin Jackson being quite a good center fielder. That was a while ago. He's got some mileage on him now, some injuries he had to deal with. And
he's got a knee.
Yeah, he's got a knee. I don't know. I would trust the Tigers to evaluate that. And I would just say this: if he's an upgrade, yes, do it. That's the bottom line. And you're not going to end up overpaying for him because I don't think he's going to cost that much to begin with.
248-539-9797. I'm open to this. It feels totally stopgap, and what Jason Beck said, till their next wave of performers are ready. The minor leaguers don't appear to be ready. Derek Hill and Christian Stewart and the other outfielders that they think can come in and help this team eventually. They sound like 2018 guys at the earliest. Maybe one of them can help this year, but it sounds like the young solution is Jacoby Jones at this point.
Yeah, and Christian Stewart is not a center fielder, but is an outfielder that they like a lot with the huge offensive upside to him. But Derek Hill is the guy that's supposed to be phenomenal defensively, but he can't stay healthy, and he hasn't played above single A just yet. So he is a ways away. Jacoby Jones played with the team last year at the end of the season with the Tigers. I think ideally they would love to have him play a full season at AAA, or at least start the season at AAA, let him prove his mettle there, and then bring him up, which might end up being the case. And like I said before, if Austin Jackson only costs you a couple $1 million a year, and Tyler Collins costs you roughly the same or less, you don't have a whole lot invested financially into that position, and it is just a stopgap. But it's one of the most important positions in baseball. You need somebody that can play defensively out there, not just be okay, but I think be above average defensively. That's why there are other names out there. If Peter Borges, is he going to be a better player than Austin Jackson? You got to look at all those free agents, determine which ones are upgrades over what you have, and then pick the best of the bunch that fits the need. And what is the priority? Is the priority defense? Is the priority providing a spark on the base paths? Do you need the combination? What are you looking for?
I've always liked Peter Borges.
I've always liked him too. But again, this is another guy that is getting longer and longer in the tooth.
Let's go to Tony on a cell. You're on 97.1 The Ticket. Hi, Tony.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good.
First-time caller. I live down here in Alabama, and Alabama is definitely hated. If you're not an Alabama fan, they're more than likely Auburn fans, a lot of Georgia fans, but the hate is even down here. I mean, I'm a Michigan fan. I'm sick of it. I was so happy last night.
Well, I think it's a gratifying result for everybody in college football that isn't an Alabama fan, because it opens up the door to some others, coming in and Alabama not being a foregone conclusion to win the whole thing. It had the feeling of a coronation. It wasn't. That's awesome for everyone else in college football. And look, there's suspicion, of course, of all teams from the South, from teams in the North, and the teams in the North always feel like they get the short end of the stick because teams in the South don't have to come up here and play in the weather ever. But
right.
it's for me, it's also not just specifically Alabama. The SEC love, which seems to be coming to a bit of an end, is nice to see that, because the SEC deserved it, but that doesn't mean you can't get sick of it.
Well, they haven't won a national championship in a year.
Right, I think, wasn't it Mike in the afternoon that was talking about how Alabama was ruining college football?
Yeah, I can't blame him for it. It's sort of up to everybody else to keep up with them. But yes, you certainly can look at that and go, this isn't good for the game to have a dynasty, although dynasties, people like seeing dynasties come to an end. 248-539-9797. Gator, game last night. Who on that field do you most want the Lions to go get? You and I have different guys from different teams. We'll get to that at 11:35. 97.1 The Ticket.